right, welcome. Keen Ramps World Headquarters 2025. We're out here. The title of this video is called DIY or Buy. DIY or Buy. For all the people that are curious or follow us and maybe have thought about buying a ramp, or you're on the fence of like, oh, I could just build one at home, I'm handy, I have tools.
Not to mention all the comments that you constantly get of like,
yeah,
my dad built that for my cousin for $15.
Yeah, it's also just a reoccurring slander that we get as a ramp building company. Skateboarders historically...
Ramp slander?
Yeah. Skateboarders historically, everything is, we'll figure it out ourselves. It's kind of like the nature of like, you know, you skate where you're not supposed to skate. It's like punk rock, like DIY or die, like figure out, like take matters into your own hands.
Yeah.
So that mentality carries over into ramp building. Like,
and every aspect.
Just steal all the materials.
Yeah.
Like you could do it cheaper. It's like, yes, you can.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that don't have a pickup truck or access to a vehicle to get full sheets of plywood from a Home Depot. Or there's people that don't have a saw. There's people that live in an apartment and don't have a garage or a place to kick up sawdust. There's plenty of reasons that people are going to want their own ramps. So I just kind of want to do a very thorough sort of analysis of one of our products, what it costs versus just buying one from us. So I'm going to kind of just jot some stuff down, and then we'll take a little tour through the back, and we'll put one of ours together, and you guys can just get a good feel for what it takes to build your own versus just getting one from us. And a lot of times people will say like, oh, well, that sheet you could get for $20. Yes, you could buy OSB, which is garbage.
Yeah.
But we use good stuff, and we're gonna show you the stuff that we use and the stuff you should buy if you wanna build your own. Okay, so say you wanted to build a little quarter pipe. I'm gonna use our 18-inch high by 3 foot tall, I'm sorry, high by tall. I'm gonna use our 18-inch high by 3 foot wide quarter pipe, which is kind of like our tried and true beginner, best bang for the buck, just easy to move around, just a great quarter pipe if you're thinking about buying a ramp for your kid who's starting out or for yourself and you kind of consider yourself a beginner, intermediate, etc.
Sure.
So 18 by 3. So for this, you're gonna need to buy one sheet of 3/4 inch ply. We use ACX, which at Home Depot right now is about $68. You don't have to use ACX, it just looks prettier. You could get a CDX grade for closer to 50. But that's what we use.
So are the options like OSB versus CDX? Is there any in between in there that does suffice?
You can buy 3/4 inch plywood in redwood. You can buy it in oak. You can buy it in maple. You can buy.
How cheap is that?
Pressure treated. Those go on up to 100 and beyond.
Okay, so these are your cheaper options.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like CDX and ACX Radiata pine wood are like the most common 3/4 inch plywoods that you'll find at a Home Depot or a Lowe's.
And why is that?
It's just the most common building material. That tree grows.
Is it because like the strength versus the price, it's the best in between, like price bang for your buck what you're getting?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
It's a mid.
I'm just curious.
It's a mid-tier plywood.
Okay.
And then the ACX is just like a beauty grade.
Okay.
It looks nice. It's cabinet grade finish.
Got it.
And then you're gonna need one sheet of a 3/8 ply. This one is the first layer, so it's gonna get covered up. So you can get CDX for this one. Those are anywhere between like 22 and like $25 right now at the stores. And
okay, so we're already over $20.
way over.
Yeah, you can't even get this first sheet for under $20.
We're already approaching $100, and we've just got 2 sheets of plywood.
We don't have 2x4s or anything yet.
No.
Yeah.
So then we'll get into, we use 1/4 inch Baltic birch. And Baltic birch, you can find it at like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, but that stuff is usually a really shitty grade. It's almost like a veneer laminate, and the interior plies is just like glued together sawdust essentially.
Okay.
Not good. Don't buy your Baltic birch wood at like a common Home Depot or a Lowe's. You're gonna want to get that from a lumber supplier.
Okay.
Typically it comes in 5 plies. It's more of a solid wood. It's gonna do better in weather. It's gonna do better with skateboard wheels rolling over it again and again and again.
Okay.
That stuff right now is around $68 a sheet.
Interesting. This is a lot more than $20.
Pre-pandemic, you could get this same piece of ply for like $28.
That's insane.
The height of the pandemic, it went up to, I think, 90.
Crazy.
Yeah. So it has come down.
Yeah.
But it's substantially more
It's elevated for sure.
than it used to be. So aside from that, you're gonna need some coping. And with coping, we use 2-inch Schedule 40. 2 inches the inside diameter. The walls of that are gonna be about 3/16 thick. So your outside diameter is 2 3/8. And so that is typically around $10-ish a foot.
Okay.
Sometimes more if you're buying less. Sometimes you're gonna get charged a cut fee too, because you're gonna have to go to a metal supplier. You can't find this at Home Depot typically. You're gonna have to go to an actual place that sells metal and say, hey, I want 2-inch Schedule 40 pipe. I like to get galvanized because it doesn't rust. So you're gonna hit with a cut fee. All in, you might be at like $42 for that.
Are there cheaper options available at Home Depot?
Yes, you could get a thinner wall, almost like a fence post.
That's gonna dent.
It's gonna dent. It's gonna be a softer metal. It's gonna grab you. I just recommend don't use the crappier stuff.
Okay.
And then you're gonna need a plate. For that, we use 16 gauge. We do a 9-inch by 36-inch piece. You're gonna spend about $24 on that.
Okay. Is there other stuff available for cheaper?
You could go thinner and cheaper, but
then it's gonna taco.
Thinner tends to taco up.
Or
wheels go over.
You could steal a stop sign.
You could do that too.
I'm playing devil's advocate here for the guy
Totally.
that's like, you know.
Totally. Like, you could probably find a piece of metal in a construction site or an abandoned building that like could be used as coping. And
Yeah.
you could cut it.
And if you're a dad that has like kids and you want to save money so you can put more food on your table, you can risk the felony, you know?
Felony. Yeah, same with the plate. I mean, you might have something lying around your garage, or you might have an old street sign, whatever. But if you're buying all this, for argument's sake, you're buying all this fresh, you don't have any of it, here's what you're gonna be spending. You're gonna need 2 lengths of screws, 2.5-inch or 3, depending on what you wanna do, that are gonna have to attach the 2x4s from the sides. So a little box of those is usually around $13. And then again, you're gonna need some shorter screws, maybe like 1 5/8 or like 2-inch long. Those are gonna attach all your surfacing. You're gonna have to buy a box of those for a similar price of about $13.
What about 2x4s?
And then 2x4s. So for this ramp, I believe it takes 9 ribs. So you're probably gonna have to buy 4 or 5 2x4s. 2x4s right now are a little shy of $4 a piece for an 8-footer. So you're gonna be wrapped up into 2x4s, maybe $22. So all that being said, $274. So somewhere around there is what you're gonna spend. So
pushing 300.
Yeah, and then this quarter pipe we sell for $439 with free shipping.
Wow.
And that's gonna be anywhere in the US minus Alaska and Hawaii. Those we can ship there, but it costs a little more, so we have to charge Alaskans and Hawaiians a little bit more for shipping. You're gonna get all of this nice pre-cut, cut on the CNC. It's gonna arrive at your doorstep. You just need a drill to assemble it. It's gonna take you anywhere from like 15 to 45 minutes, depending on how fast you are with the drill. So the difference between buying all these materials yourself and buying from us is about $165. Well, how much time are you gonna spend doing all this? You're gonna take a trip to Home Depot, you're gonna take a trip to a premier lumber yard, you're gonna take a trip to the metal supplier, there might be some phone calls involved, finding different places, and then you're gonna do probably a couple hours of online research of like how to scribe.
Watch a YouTube video, yeah.
Hopefully watching our YouTube videos,
Yeah.
how to build your own quarter pipe at home.
True.
And then you might mess up a few times, right? You might go, too steep. No, not steep enough. Oh no, I messed up my transition. Another trip to Home Depot, get a new sheet. All that's gonna happen. You're probably gonna spend the course of an entire weekend building this quarter pipe. And so that being said, let's say 2 8-hour days, you spent about 16 hours making
That's
this
the number
quarter
we
pipe.
got to earlier.
Yeah, so for somewhere in the ballpark of like $10 to $11 an hour is what you're spending your time on.
That is minimum wage.
Way less. Some people might like that because they're like, oh, it's not about the money, it's about like, I'm doing it with my son.
And if you want to learn a new craft, by all means, that's awesome.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to use this as a weekend project to keep your kid busy and you know, show them some life skills,
Yeah.
like by all means go for it. But at the end of the day, that is the price difference. For $165 more than what you would spend on the materials, you're gonna get a brand new one. Everything's gonna be tried and true and perfect. And you know, we've gone through like all the mistakes, and we've made 2 and 3 renditions and tried different radiuses and used different materials and like
Of nearly every ramp you've made.
yeah. So what you're getting is what we believe to be the best.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice seeing it all flat laid.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, this is everything that comes in one of our 18x3 quarter pipe kits. We've done other content about this particular ramp. A couple of years ago, Dan came over and we just skated it and kind of dove into all the pluses and minuses of it. Not really minuses, we're mostly talking in praise about our products.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just slap this together and do a few tricks on it and just kind of show you the difference of like what you're getting here versus going to the store and buying. So this transition side is what you get in one of our kits. So if you do this yourself at home, you gotta decide on a radius, which if you are building by yourself, watch our videos. You're probably gonna want something between like 6 and 7.5, 8 feet max for the radius. You wanna make sure that it's gonna blend smoothly with the ground. You have that coping notch there. You want the right reveal. So these are all things that if you're building by yourself, you're gonna have to do the research and learn what's the ideal bump. It's 1/4 inch. Something minor that you won't have to think about, you know, where should you put your screws when you're attaching a 2x4? Some people think you should use 3. Some people might just use 1. Some people might put the 2x4s the wrong way where they're not as supported. So, you know, just know that when you're getting one of our kits, all that's out the door. We've made all the mistakes and we have created a product that is perfect. See that? Just a countersink, but it takes out all the guesswork. You know exactly where that screw's going. Line up perfect with the ribs, and you got all those countersinks there, so it makes it super easy. And then same thing down there on our first layer. We have all those blue dots to show where the screws are going to go. Final layer, you have all your countersinks. So I just want to show how dummy-proof these kits are. Yeah, if you're building your own, make sure you countersink. Get a good one.
Wait, you almost grabbed the right amount of screws?
I always like make that little game for myself.
Yeah.
When I pick up a pile of screws, I'm like, I'm gonna try to pick up the exact amount. And on that deck, I almost did it. I have 1 left over.
Damn, that's crazy. These are very dummy proof. I always forget how dummy proof these ramps are.
Part of the reason they're so dummy proof is because I don't really like making in detail instructions, like really in-depth instructions, and that's always been like one of my jobs here is like when we come out with a new product, I have to make the instructions for it.
Yeah.
So I just try to make it so intuitive that people really don't have to lean on instructions that much.
Right.
So that's the thought process here of
Got
like
it.
all the labels and the color coding and the dots and
Right.
all that is just to make it really, really self-explanatory.
The coping stickers too, that's a nice touch.
Yeah. So you know,
Yeah.
like if you've never seen this before and you haven't like messed with tools or ramps without that thing, you might put it the other way, or you might think it goes this way.
When you order the coping, does it come pre-cut or do you guys have to cut it here?
The people we buy it from cut for us.
Do you have to pay a fee for that?
We do.
Okay.
But we do like to, we bevel the edges because when we get it, it's still cut and raw and there's little like metal
Shards.
shavings. So we make sure that before any coping goes on the shelf to go into a ramp kit, we kind of just clean up the edges, file them, bevel them. We attach that block on the bottom. We thread the bolts. So
Okay.
that's all. You can see all the prep that goes into it.
Right.
You're not just like getting a crude piece of metal from like a metal yard.
Do they come with the holes drilled through it?
No.
Okay, you guys do
Yeah,
that.
we do all that. All right, so that time I played the little game again, grabbed a handful, tried to have exactly enough to attach that top layer. I was too shy.
You're pretty close though.
Close.
Yeah.
You think that's too many? No.
I think it's too many.
Too many?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
See how many left.
Damn. I had four too many.
Look at that beauty.
I used to think that selling a quarter pipe this small was kind of dumb, but then we kept getting so many requests of people being like, do you make something smaller? Do you make something easier, more beginner friendly? So we introduced this, and it's been a great seller. And even people that are like really talented are like, dude, it's fun because it's also like a launch ramp.
Yeah.
You can also like boost out of it.
Right. We're making a fucking quarter pipe video, and Corey's so hyped on his new Spark board that he's like, let's pull the curb
I
out.
just set it up.
This setup, I might steal this from you. I'll take these off and give them back to you, but that setup I want to steal. That is like a perfect egg, dude. Oh, you broke the curb.
Dude, I'm strapping so hard.
Holy shit.
Camped out for a while.
It's crazy how those are easier for you than regular. That was insane, dude. I'm sure there's been a lot of people that watch the Keen Ramps videos that have used the how to build your own quarter pipe, how to build your own box, like those types of videos, and they have went and built their own based off of the knowledge that you provided them. So I think it'd be sick if any of those people that have done that leave a comment below and let us know how long it took you and how much it costs, if you remember.
If you had to do it again, would you have just bought a kit from us?